Good morning, everybody. Shefa Brucha Vatzlucha. Again, unfortunately, we're doing the shiur from the car because I have to rush to a meeting. Anyway, we are in parashat Shavua, parashat Chai Sara, the life of Sarah Imenu. But the real truth is, we're not talking really about the life of Sarah Imenu, but more of her death. And the Torah is telling us how much she lived, 127 years, and it's being described in a very strange way. 100 years, 20 years, 7 years, and every time it's bringing years, shanim, and in the end, elu shnei chayei Sarah. Those are the years of Sarah. Now, shnei in Hebrew is shnaim also. It's two, and really, what the Torah is telling to tell us is that though we're talking about the death of Sarah, it's not really what we have to understand. We have to understand that real life for a Jew is the next world, not this world. This world is only a passageway. And everything we do in this world has got an influence on the next world. That's the shtaim, that's the two. The things we do in this world have an effect on the next world. And Eilu Shnei Chayei Sarah, says the Torah, says Rashi, all her years were good. In other words, she fulfilled all the years of her life in the best way anybody can. And by the way, the same description, if you look in the parasha, is written about Avraham Avinu. So in other words, we see here also a very interesting point that we have here this, let's say, perfect couple that live the same life, they do the same thing, and both of them are using every day in the proper way. And using every day in a proper way, what is the meaning of it? I can tell you, sometimes we see in the street, especially when we go on holidays and think, I've just been now in an exhibition in Italy, in Anatolia, so it is a resort place. And I must tell you that a very interesting point. You look at the people there and you see elderly people, and they are really trying to be young. Like you see the tattoos they have, and sometimes they're like the way they dress, and it looks like a joke, because you should behave to your age and not try to be what you're not. And this is one of the big lessons from the Parsha. It's written, Avraham Avinu zaken uba bayamim. Avraham is old and he comes in the days. Ba bayamim. What does it mean, comes in the day? So one of the beautiful things, the Zohar HaKadosh explains it in a very beautiful way. He says he used every day, every stage of his life in the best way you can. And by the way, we're talking about Sarah Imenu. That's exactly the same point. Where the way that divided the years 100, 20, and 7, also with Avraham Avinu, it was divided the same way, to show us that you have three stages in life. Like you have when you're a child, then when you're adult, or you get married or whatever, and then when you're older. And those three stages, the Torah is telling us everybody has to live according to his age and use the best of the age. And we all know, if you look at it in this way, we can use every stage of our life in the best way. And this is what Avraham and Sarah Imenu are telling us. They knew how to fulfill their life in the best way, and suitable to the stage they are, to the age they are, and to the place they are. And this is what is required from each one of us. It's like my grandchild went to Kita Aleph, and she was talking to us, says, oh, it's a shame I'm not in the gun here, I have to work hard. And sometimes we all think, oh, I wish I was young. But that's exactly the point. You wish you were young for what? To do what? If you're talking about materialistic stuff, that's not the idea. That's not why you're here. It's like I remember I had a new car, and a few days later on, I'm coming to start the car. I cannot start it. At the end of the story, it's the battery was empty because I left the light on or whatever. And this is like the same thing is, if you look at your life from the materialistic point of view, so yes, comes an age that you look at the life before, that you empty the battery. You used all the joys of life, and you spend your life in going after nonsense and joys and materialistic stuff, and now you feel that's it, finished. I finished the battery. But this is if you look at life on a materialistic point of view. But when you look at life from the spiritual point of view, say the Gemara that the eldest of Am Yisrael, the older they get, the wiser they get. And I must tell you, I always remember when I used to visit in old age homes, when you come to an old age home of people that are not religious, they are far away from religion, you saw a very sad picture. A lot of them were sitting and just staring the walls and other stuff. From the other side, when I went to a place where people were religious people, old age home, it was a whole different story. They were all busy in the, learning shiurim and learning Torah. And I knew where my father has been, there was a guy that was 103 years old. And I couldn't give him even 70 or 80 years. He was full of life. Why? Because he was a scholar. He was learning. And this is one of the things that we have to understand. There is an age that you have all those nonsense you leave behind you. You understand what it's all about. And you put yourself in a spiritual way. And that's the best way to live. And to understand and believe that what is from the outside, it's not in the inside. What sparkles from the outside doesn't mean that it's really inside. And I always remember when I'm talking about inside and outside, we see in the parasha a lot of running. Everybody's running. And you see that from one point of view, it looks like Eliezer, when he looks for a wife for Yitzchak, he's doing guessing, nichushim, and it's not allowed. He says, if the girl will come and will give me water and all the 10 camels, then this is the girl. What is this? This is not allowed. It's nichush. But that's exactly the point. We don't understand what's going on here. It's not a nichush. It's a test. Eliezer understood that he has to bring a suitable girl, a bride to Yitzchak, that it's suitable to the house of Abraham, that is a house of chesed. Olam chesed ibaneh. Full with chesed. And when we talk about chesed, that's not a normal chesed. You need a special chesed. And really what we see with Rivka, what she is doing, this is chesed. This is really being on the best side of doing chesed and gemilut chasadim. Like, this girl is running backwards and forwards to give water to 10 camels. You know how much a camel drinks? And they're sitting there and standing, which is also a very interesting point. Why do they stand not helping her? Because all those miracles happening, and Rivka, this girl, is telling Eliezer she's going to give water to 10 camels. Eliezer is starting to think maybe she's from those who talk a lot and don't do anything, don't deliver. It's like we want once to we had a meeting of the, how do you call it, the Bogrim, from our yeshiva. They had a meeting and we're talking about helping the yeshiva and everything. And one of the guys that we knew that he was not exactly a rich guy, and he promised to donate to the yeshiva a big sum of money. Of course, he didn't have any intention to do it, or maybe he had intention, but he didn't have the ability to do it. So sometimes in life, you have to understand, it's very easy to say, I'm going to do this and that, but at the end of the way, what do? That's the real story. And when Eliezer sees this small girl, he's telling him, I'm going to give water to 10 camels. He says, I have to see if this is really happening. And this is the reason he stands there with all the 10 guys that he's there, because he didn't come alone. And they look at this girl going backwards and forwards, and then he understood, wow, that is her. That is the most suitable girl for the house of Avram, to be a bride for Yitzchak. It's amazing, the parsha, and also the way when we see Eliezer, to think about what it is to go and find the right way to go. Eliezer's got a daughter, and he would be more than happy that his daughter is going to be the bride of Yitzchak. But Avraham Avinu tells him it's impossible, it doesn't work. But Eliezer understands that when he goes to the mission, he maybe will try, or let's say Yetzer Hara, the bad inclination, is going to try to convince him that he cannot find a suitable girl and his daughter is the suitable one. And when he comes this way back to Avraham Avinu, tells him, I didn't find the right girl, maybe Avraham Avinu will take his daughter. Knowing this, and being a tzaddik as Eliezer, he knew he has to do those things quickly. Don't let Yetzer Hara go in. In other words, don't hesitate, don't wait, do it as quickly as possible. And this explains his strange behavior. First of all, when he said, if the girl is going to come and offer me water and also water the 10 camels I've got, this is the girl. Now, she's doing this, and he is not waiting to ask her, where is she from? Maybe that's not the family of Avram Avinu, and he was sent to bring a girl from the family of Avram Avinu. He's not asking, he's giving her the presents without asking. What's so wrong with him? And then, when he realizes, yes, that's the right girl, and they invite him to the home, and he now, for a few days, maybe didn't eat properly because he was on his way, and now they're offering to eat, but he says, no, 1 minute, I'm not eating anything. First of all, I want to tell you why I'm here. I'm here to find a bride for Yitzchak, and this is the bride, Rivka. Do you agree or not? And if you not agree, I'm going right, I'm going left, whatever. He is really pressuring them to finish the deal, the shiur. And they say, okay, and now, okay, this is a small girl. Now she's going to get married. Let her say goodbye in a proper way, stay a few months at the house, and then come. No, now we're going. What's going on here? What is this all about? The Sabbath von Novardok explains that in life, when you have a mission, and there are obstacles on the way, or there is something that you want that is nothing to do with the mission, or is going to disturb the mission, you have to do everything quickly, without thinking. Because the minute you start thinking, the minute you stop, then Yetzer Hara can go in and change your whole plan. And this is why, when he realizes that this could be, let's say, 99% Rivka, he's not asking. He's giving her the presents, thinking to himself, if I'm going to start asking and then giving the present, maybe Yetzer Hara will go in and will try to convince me that that's not the girl. And he says, and you know what? If it's not her, I'm going to pay off the present for my money. Anyway, which is another question, is his money. He didn't have money, he's a slave. But let's leave this at the side. Then when he comes to eat, he says, okay, I'm not going to sit to eat. And when I'm going to sit to eat, we're going to talk about this. Maybe again, Yetzer Hara will go in the middle and disturb my mission. So he is saying, no, I'm not eating. First of all, you have to let me know if I can take Rivka to be the wife of Yitzchak. When they agree, he realizes again, I cannot stay here. If I'm staying here, I'm going to again hesitate, and maybe because I want deep inside that my daughter is going to be the wife of Yitzchak, I'm going to hesitate, and Yetzer Hara will come in, and again I have a problem. So again, what is he doing? I have to go now. And says the Sabbath von Novardok, he says, this is the right way. When you have a mission, and with difficulties or obstacles or with things that are not, that you have desires that are not connected to this mission, do it as quickly as possible without thinking, without hesitating. Because the minute you stop, the minute you hesitate, Yetzer Hara can go in, which is a big lesson for us. And this is also the idea of Chai Sara, to realize that this life in this world are really affecting the next world, and what we do here in this world has got a great effect on the world to come. And it's also the connection between the inside and the outside, the two, the neshama with the body, the things, how they look from the outside and how they look from the inside. And I want to finish with a nice story that I always say about things that you see from the outside or from the inside, because the Torah, as the Zohar HaKadosh writes, it's not a story. It's not a storytelling. It's much more deeper. It's when we talk about Avram and Yitzchak, and we're talking about Sarah, the life of Sarah. We're talking about our belief and the way we should live our life. But unfortunately, some people look only at the inside, at story, only on the outside, and they don't see the inside. The inside doesn't exist for them, because everything is from the outside. They look at the materialistic world. They're not looking about the spiritual world. And this was this teacher coming to the class, and he had a great idea how to teach the kids in the class, or primary school, whatever you call it. And he says, class, listen to me. And he raised up the pencil he had in his hand and says, do you see the pencil? Says, yes, it means that there is a pencil. Then he took a book. He says, do you see the book? He says, yes, it means that that's a book. Then he took a box and he said, do you see the box? He says, yes. So it means that we have a box. There is a box. And so it's going on, and then he says, do you see God? He says, no. Well, it means that there is no God. Wow, he was so happy about teaching the class that there is no God. That was in Russia at the times that there were atheists that didn't believe in anything, didn't want to believe. To believe was only to believe in the communist idea. Anyway, there was this kid, a Jewish kid in the class, was very clever. And he's asking the teacher, can I also try this? The teacher was happy. Yes, of course. So the kid, the Jewish kid, is raising up the pencil, says, class, do you see the pencil? Says, yes, it means there is a pencil. Then he takes his bag, says, do you see my bag? Says, yes, that means that there is a bag. Then he takes a book, he says, do you see the book? He says, yes, that means that there is a book. Then he says, do you see the brain of the teacher? He says, no, they mean it's got no brain. And how true it is to look at things from the outside and not realizing what is inside, and how important is the inside, and a lot of times much more important than the outside, especially for us, knowing what is our mission in this world, knowing that when the Torah is telling us Chai Sara, that like time from 2, the years of Sarah Imenu, the meaning of living the double life. What does it mean, double life? The outside and the inside, they have to be connected. They understand and realize the effect of everything you do in this world. It's got an effect on your next world. Everything that you do from the inside, it's got an effect on the outside. But the outside without the inside doesn't worth a lot. The inside, by the way, if you think that you can keep only the inside, it's also wrong. Because here in Olam HaMaaseh, we are in the world of doing, of making. Olam HaMaaseh, we have to do things. We have to practice. In other words, to say I am only spiritual doesn't work in this world. It's the wrong way to think, because as we said, you have to connect both worlds, this world and the next world, the spiritual side with the physical side. This is why we're here. In other words, you cannot say I believe and don't do anything about it. It's like, for example, a couple that love each other. How do you show your love? It says, I'm thinking that I love you. She's thinking she loves you. Thinking is enough. You have to show. You have to do things to show your love. I'm eating an ice cream. No, I want to feel the taste of the ice cream without eating it. Is it possible? I can imagine in my imagination the taste of the ice cream. Who will want to get his salary in imagination? Imagine you got a salary. No, I want to count the money. I'm giving examples that will to understand and realize that here you cannot say I'm only spiritual. You have to connect with your deeds, what you do. This is Chai Sara, the life of Sarah Imenu. It means to fulfill your life with good deeds that are going to connect the spiritual world with the physical world, this world with the next world. This is our mission in life. This is the way to live a Jewish life. And as we said, understanding the meaning of everything and taking in consideration the point that whatever we do in this world, it's got an effect on this and the other world. And if we have a mission to do it as quickly as possible. Don't let anybody disturb you in the mission. And understanding this idea of going in the Torah way, which is the best way to fulfill our mission in this life, looking and putting the right proportion in what we do and what we think, and understanding that the inside has to also reflect on the outside, and the outside should also reflect the inside. If we are coming to this combination, then we are whole. Then this is Chai Sara, all completely good. So I wish for all of us to make our life, make our years, make our days proper days. And as Avram and Sarah showing us, in every stage of life, find the best in this stage, in this age, and do it, because there are beautiful things in any age. All the best, and a beautiful day to everybody.